All right, so I wanted to put a little recording together for you guys. We didn't get through every example today in class, obviously. So let's do a few of them now so you guys can see the solutions, pause it, rewind it, take notes, back it up, see whatever you have to do, okay? So I'll do one video that has the first four, and then I'll make another video that has the other four. All right, so the first one was to turn 2.53 times 10 to the fifth micrograms into grams. We know that every single unit conversion starts the same exact way, right? It starts with a fraction, right? It's a unit conversion because we have a unit we want to get rid of and we have a unit we'd like to get to. So we have micrograms on the top, right? Everything over here is, like on top, just like you learned in math years ago. A given number is just like that number over 1, so that is on the top. So micrograms are in the top, so to get rid of them, I need them to appear in the bottom. And I'm just going from micrograms to grams. I'm just getting rid of a prefix. So I know I can do that in one step. Right? Whenever you're just getting rid of a prefix or going from the base unit and adding a prefix, you can do it in one step. So now, whether you look on the little cheat sheet I give you or you memorize them, we know that micro is small. Right? We know that micro means 1/1,000,000th. So it's small. So the way I prefer to write them is how many of the little one are in the big one. Okay, so in this case, how many micrograms are in a gram? Micro means millionth, so there are 1,000,000 micrograms in a gram. I've gotten rid of micrograms. I've got grams up top where I want them. So I'm ready for my calculator. Okay, I'm probably only going to be supporting the TI or other scientific calculators. Class calc is a little problematic with scientific notation. Okay, so try to get out of my way here. 2.53 times 10 to the fifth. So you put in 2.53 times 10 to the fifth, 2.53, and then that times 10 to the fifth. Okay, second comma, you see right there? EE, somewhere on your calculator, no matter what kind of scientific calculator it is, no matter what kind of scientific calculator it is, it has an EE or EXP button somewhere on it. So on the TI, it's second comma, puts an E on your screen, right? That E all by itself means times 10 to the. So it's just waiting for the exponent, 5. Okay, so that all by itself means 2.53 times 10 to the fifth. You don't want to have anything else in there. The E all by itself means times 10 to the. Okay, any other combination of keys you can press in your calculator, there's plenty of ways to get the right answer. This happens to be the most careful way to do it because your calculator sees that as a number. Okay? It doesn't see it as a 2.53 and a 10 and a 5 separated by mathematical operations. It now sees this as a number, 2.53 times 10 to the fifth. All right, so you divide that by 1,000,000. Okay, divided by, there's another number that can just be entered with scientific notation. That's like 1 times 10 to the sixth, right? Well, I don't even have to put 1 times. I don't have to put 1 E. I can just jump to the E. E6. Okay? Your calculator interprets that correctly. E6 just means 10 to the sixth. Okay? So this is all I need for this problem. 2.53 times 10 to the fifth divided by 10 to the sixth. I hit enter. The calculator says 0.253. And hopefully that seems a little obvious, right? Times 10 to the fifth divided by 10 to the sixth. Of course, we're just moving it 1 decimal to the left, but we're learning how to use our calculators. So 0.253 grams. All right. The next few, this one especially and the next one, they're all just about as easy. I'm getting rid of another prefix. So I have nanometers on top. Right, so I need nanometers in the bottom. I'm going to meters. I know I can do that in just one step, so I'm just getting rid of a prefix. Nanometers to meters. Now I know nano means 1 billionth, right? Whether you've memorized the cheat sheet or whether you've memorized all the prefixes or you use the sheet tomorrow, nano means 1 billionth. So nanometer is very small. So it means there's a lot of nanometers in a meter. So it means a billionth. That means there's a billion nanometers in a meter. Put in my calculator. 547 divided by a billion. So I just do E9 equals 5.47 times 10 to the negative 7th. Going from megahertz to hertz. Again, doesn't matter what hertz is right now. We don't need to recognize yet that that's a unit of frequency. All that matters is it's mega something, right, to something. So megahertz to hertz. So megahertz is on the top. Put it in the bottom. I can go to hertz in just one step, because all I'm doing is dropping that prefix. And mega, right, whether I've memorized the list or I have to look at it tomorrow. Mega means million. Mega's big, okay? So are there a lot of megahertz in a hertz or a lot of hertz in a megahertz? There's a lot of hertz in a megahertz. Mega means million, so there's a million hertz in a megahertz. Put it in my calculator, 105.9. 105.9 times a million, E6, 1.059 times 10 to the 8th. You can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you want to be sure, it's a little tedious, but you can go mode and highlight psi, enter, quit, enter, and it will put it in scientific notation for you. Okay, so if you get quick with that and you really don't want to count the digits and possibly be wrong, the calculator will put it in scientific notation for you. The problem is now your calculator's stuck in scientific notation format. So if I were to come behind this in the next problem and just put in a number like 65, and just put in a number like 65, sorry, my computer's doing something else right now, and just put in a number like 65, calculator turns that into 6.5 times 10 to the first. It's going to put every number in scientific notation. 1 is going to get turned into 1 times 10 to the 0. Okay, so it's a little irritating. But if you don't want to count the zeros and you get quick with it, mode, psi, or switch it back, mode, normal, enter, quit, enter. See, it put the 1 back in the form of 1. Okay, but my answer to this question was 1.059 times 10 to the 8th. Lastly, we're going from square meters to square centimeters. So meters are in the top. You need to get rid of it, so meters go on the bottom. We're going to centimeters. Now, forget about the square for a second. Just deal with the unit. We'll deal with the exponent in a second. Meters are getting turned into centimeters. In the same way those were up there. Meters get turned into centimeters, so I put meters in the bottom to get rid of it. Centimeters in the top, right? I'm just adding a prefix, so I know I can do it in one step. Centa is small, right? It's 1/100th. So I know there's 100 centimeters in a meter. Now that meters squared, right? Meters squared means meters times meters. There's 2 of them, right? It's meters times meters. So there's a few different ways that you can write this. Probably the most fundamental way to write it is just say, okay, this meter took care of one of those meters. it's just 1 meter there because I got rid of the other one. And so one way, sort of the most fundamental way to write this is say, I just need to do it again, right, to get rid of the other meter. Okay. Same conversion. So it's just 100 centimeters in a meter. And now I've gotten rid of the other one. So now, in other words, right, squared units are going to cause 2 unit conversions, right, 2 conversion factors. Okay, so this just tells me to take this number and multiply it by 100 and multiply it by 100 again. So yes, that means 100 squared. Yes, there's a lot of ways to write, a couple different ways to write this. Yes, there's a couple different ways to enter it in your calculator. I'm just going to do it the most careful, fundamental way. So 0.0003755 times 100 times 100 times 100 times 100, 3.755. And sure enough, centimeters times centimeters is what I wanted, centimeters squared. All right, so let me finish. Let me just stop this one, and I'll make another video that has numbers 5 through 8. All right? Remember, use any of the methods we have of communication if you have any questions. Remind, there's a discussion forum on PowerSchool, email. Okay, the discussion forum will be the best because then everybody sees the questions and the answers. But feel free to use Remind or email as well, right? So if you maybe mention a time, exact time in the video where you're not understanding, or if you want to take a screenshot and circle something and say, I don't understand what you did right here, anything like that, okay? So let me know if you have any questions, and I will do the other 4 in another video. See you soon.